we now move to chapter number 5, where we talk of etiquette. Now, etiquettes basically are generally accepted code of behavior or mannerisms by and large by a large set of public. How do you behave when you are in public places using devices or having meals or using the internet? Can talk about how you are as a person. So the very first etiquette that we have to understand or we need to learn is from the point of view of office. What are the office etiquettes? As an employee, how you should behave or conduct the best way so that you are always in the good books, you are always considered to be a positive person, a pleasing personality by most of your office members. For that, let's look at the various etiquettes that one needs to follow when they are in the office premises. So first and foremost, you should be well dressed, you should be very punctual, you should be very well groomed. In terms of well dressed and well groomed, when I talk of well dressed, it means when you're going to office, wear iron clothes. You can't wear crumpled clothes and go to office. You can't wear fancy, sleazy numbers or flashy colors and go to office. Subtle colors, whether you are a boy or whether you are a girl. You are a girl, and you should avoid wearing light colors, right? Maybe that can give you the wrong body shape, or the way people look at you could be wrong. When we talk of boys, when we talk of grooming skills, having two huge beards, too fancy mustache, unkept hair, everything is coming down. Okay, even for girls, well-groomed manners means you're wearing matching colored clothes or contrast color clothes. Not putting too loud a perfume, whether a boy or a girl, because maybe somebody else is allergic to it. So you should not put heavy perfume, right? Okay, not wear flashy earrings, flip-flops, or very pointed heels and go to office and then tuck. Every time you walk, people have to turn around. Not wearing a lot of heavy jewelry, bangles, maybe just one color or two bangles, so that they don't keep clinging all day long and disturbing your people. Rest. Then, apart from your grooming and dressing skills, we then move to understand the next other kind of etiquette is you should not be too loud in the office premises. You should not do something which is outside the office premises. As in, if you have a personal business, if you are an LIC agent side by side, or if you are associated with Herbalife, Amway, or Tupperware, you should not do your personal businesses in the office hours, even if there are lunch hours. You can just let people know that, okay, I'm associated with so and so, and after the office hours, can you give me half an hour of your time where we can sit in the cafeteria or the nearest cafe and I can discuss my business proposition with you. But within the office hours, to discuss all of that is not fine. Being very punctual in terms of the fact not taking too many leaves, being attentive towards work, adhering to deadlines can fall under the parameter of you following the proper office etiquette. To add to it, we also need to make sure that you do not pass any sexist or communist comments against any of the employees. You do not gossip about them, and at the same point in time, you do not try to instigate any sort of unnecessary emotions within them. So that is what office etiquette talks about. Next, we understand what is the telephone etiquettes. Now, telephone etiquettes, apparently speaking, considering that you are on your desk space, your office space, and you have a telephone facility to speak to. So what kind of etiquettes you have to follow when you are using the device that is the telephone? Now, telephone, the very first thing is, as soon as you pick up, you should greet the opposite person with a smile on your face. And naturally, when you pick up the phone and you say hello versus hello, from you right now you are seeing that's why you come to the number not smiling. But if you just close your eyes and just close your eyes and listen to, hello, this is Ishita here, how may I help you? Hello, this is Ishita here, how may I help you? Can you feel the difference? Yes, definitely. So whenever you pick up the phone, always pleasantly greet the opposite person, always say hello, introduce yourself. If you are the one who's making call, then similarly you said, hello, this is Ishita here, can I please speak to so and so, or this is Ishita here, I'm from so and so company, I would like you to connect me to so and so. So have proper formal conversations. Okay, now if you are in the desk place and if you are supposed to answer, if there's a phone ringing and you are there, don't let it ring for multiple number of times. 1, 2 ring max, pick up the phone and answer. You may not be the person whose that phone belongs to, that line belongs to, but because it's ringing and it's a basic courtesy, you can always pick up and say hello, and before the opposite person starts talking, you can always say hello, this is so and so, Mr. XYZ is not at his place, so in case if you want to leave a message, let me know, or else can you get back in half an hour or 45 minutes if you know that so and so is the case, or if they're not at work, so did they not come to work today, can you call back tomorrow? So these are the courtesy manners. And again, because it's a telephonic conversation where the opposite person cannot see you, what you also have to understand or also have to comprehend is with regards to how clear your voice is. Are you speaking correctly? If you're not comfortable with, say for example, English, don't try to unnecessarily speak to the opposite person in English. Pick up the phone and speak in Hindi. Right? So that is the right kind of phone etiquette. When you pick up a phone and you are the one who is supposed to transfer, for example, if it's a receptionist who has to transfer, so then always tell that, okay sir, just a minute, I will connect you to so and so, and then connect it to the other person. Don't just, as soon as a person says, can you connect me, tuck tuck tuck, you keep connecting, right? So okay sir, just a minute, I'll connect you to whomsoever it is, and then you connect. Don't drink or eat when you are on phone conversations, because the opposite person may not be able to really understand or comprehend what you're trying to say. So as basic mannerisms, you shouldn't drink or eat when you are having a phone conversation. And always be courteous enough to answer the call at the earliest. Right? So these are something which we understand from the point of view of telephone etiquettes. Now mobile etiquettes. Extension to a telephone only, but that is a personal device that each of us has with us whenever and wherever we go. We carry it to our offices, we carry it in public places like the trains, the malls, the theaters, restaurants. So whenever you are in public places and you know that the code of conduct, the decorum there is supposed to be of silent environment, okay? Always keep your phone on mute or the silent mode. And if it's a real important call that you are awaiting, try to keep the ringer volume to the minimal that you can instantly answer. When sitting in a cinema hall watching movies, do not play around with your phone, do not flashlight your phone. If it's really important, move outside the premises and answer to the call or reply to the message, or play games if the movie is really boring. But do not trouble the other seaters, the other audiences by flashing off light on your phone. Again, always reply as soon as possible to somebody's text message or WhatsApp messages. Of course, one internet app that we have, whether it is Instagram, whether it is WhatsApp, whether it is connecting through the LinkedIn chat boxes, or basic plain SMSs. Avoid latency. So the time between receiving and sending a message. Somebody send me, hey, hi, how are you? And after 3 days I'll reply, I'm fine, how are you? So that is the concept of latency. So avoid the concept of latency, avoid giving late replies. Make it within a span of few minutes to a maximum an hour to be able to communicate to them. In case if you're not able to pick up somebody's call because you are in a meeting or held up with some other important work, always drop a message, hey, I am busy, I will get back to you later. Don't let the phone just keep ringing, thinking that the opposite person will understand that you're busy and that's why he's not answering the call. Not a courteous parameter or not a courteous way of dealing with your mobile phones. Do not keep fancy ringtones, right? Friends ka theme song, Kabir Singh ka theme song, ya maa ka call aaya, maa ka call aaya. The whole office, the whole public place does not need to know that your mother is calling. So keep generalized default ringtones, and if you think that they are too loud, always use the ringer mode and keep it on a lowest possible volume that you are able to resonate with, you are able to talk with. Right? So with that, we understand what are mobile etiquettes. Now we move to understanding what are net etiquettes. Okay, and before I forget, mobile etiquettes are also known as mobiquettes. Okay, then we move to the internet etiquettes or the netiquettes, because we use the internet net word, so it is netiquettes. Now when you are online, when you are seeing somebody's post, whether you're in office premises, first and foremost, office premises do not use internet. You are there for your official work unless you're doing some sort of finding of information for your relevant project, topic, assignment, product. Then you can use internet for those purposes. But for leisure purposes, Facebook and all, again, office etiquette's not good. So in internet etiquettes, if you are surfing the internet, you come across somebody's photo, somebody's post, you may not resonate with it. Don't outrightly lash out on the person. Do not pass lewd comments, cheap comments. Do not instigate the person. Do not use abusive, foul languages to humiliate the person. That is that person's opinion. That is that person's photo. Acha, the other way around. Do not pass it even if the person is not partial. Say for example, you have a grudge against somebody. Don't use social media or internet to defame the person or tarnish somebody's image. Using of vulgar words, posting bad, nude, mocked photos of friends just to remove some sort of rivalry, not a good etiquette. Avoid using unofficial or banned sites. So certain organizations, they have a protocol that within office premises you're not supposed to use Facebook, you're not supposed to use Instagram, and they have kept a curtail over it. So don't use all the hacks and then be able to access to all these sites. Right? Do not unnecessarily download stuff in terms of piracy. Stop piracy. Avoid downloading stuff that are freely available unless they are from certain authenticated sources. So these are where we follow the basic protocols of your internet. Now let's look at the business card etiquette. Okay. Now what is business card? Basically, business card talks about the person. It gives the profile or the designation that she is into and the organization that she is a part of. Their contact details are given on the business card. So if for example I am the one who's supposed to give a business card, the best way is either to give it through a right hand or with both my hands, and the card should be facing upwards. The opposite person should be able to read your name. It should be in their zone. Okay, so for example, if this is what my card is written about, how do I give it? This way, so that whatever details are my name, the college, or my contact details, my email ID, everything is reflected to the person who is carrying it. And as a receiver, you should always hold the card with both your hands, and in front of the person who is giving you the card, read out, okay, Mr. XYZ from this organization. Glad sir, it was nice meeting, and then you put it. Okay, in front of them, don't just throw the business card. It may not be important to you, that's fine, that's completely fine, but do not just throw it away in front of the person. As a receiver, as I said, always give it with either your right hand or with two hands facing upward, and make sure that they are not dirty, they are not worn out, and they are not outdated. Means, for example, you may have moved on from being a sales executive to a sales manager. So make sure that you give your updated card. That would lead to the fact that they would take you more seriously. If you are a sales manager and they will say, hey भैया मैं sales manager बन गया हूँ, यहाँ पे खाली sales executive है, या तो मेरा नंबर चेंज हो गया है, यहाँ पे ये नंबर दिया है, आप कैंसिल करके लिख लो. Does it give a good feeling about the person? No. So avoid doing the same. Right? Then we also say that keep it updated, and from the point of view of a receiver, do not start writing stuff on the business card in front of the person or maybe even after. Maintain, if possible, a proper business card journal or a business card diary where you just put in everybody's business card. Probably when you go for exhibitions, trade shows, places of business associations, and you need multiple people, always keep it in a proper folder. You never know when that could be useful to you. Even after 5 years, it may be outdated. But if you really feel the need to, you at least have some contact details, maybe the email ID, maybe the number, maybe the organization through which you can get in touch with these people. So these are the generalized business card etiquettes one needs to follow. After that, we come to a very interesting topic, which is business meals etiquette. Okay, now basically business meals, as the name suggests, are when you go for lunch or dinner with your respective employees. Either the boss treats his subordinates for a lunch or a dinner, right? Or it could be just a basic celebration for some festival, or it could be because the team has achieved certain targets. So on those grounds, when you have such deals or when you go for such meals, as a host, let's say as host, what are things you should keep in mind? If I am organizing a business meal, if I'm hosting a dinner or lunch for my people, I should be the one to select the place and inform the people who are going to attend, or people whoever I'm inviting, at least a week prior, that okay, so and so date I have organized or I'm hosting a dinner and I would wish you to be there. So give them a perfect time, give them the name of the venue and invite them 1 week prior. If it's a large group of people, to avoid any sort of discussions at the dinner table or at the lunch table कि अभी क्या खाना है, अच्छा तेरा choice बता. It's always better for the host to pre-decide the menu. Okay, maybe you can ask the favor, the cuisine that maximum people would want to go ahead with. But if not, you can decide upon what kind of menu should be ordered. And at the max, you can give them an option. Okay, चलो soup है, तो tomato soup and manchow soup. Then you ask people कि तुम्हें tomato चाहिए, तुम्हें manchow चाहिए. But keep your menu pre-decided. Also go in advance and see the sitting of where the table chair basically are. So if it's a larger party, if you are having some sort of team celebrations, you may have some sort of discussions, or you may talk loudly, have fun, because you're there to unwind yourself. So make sure that then you take a corner table where you are not disturbing the other people who've come down to have a quiet lunch or dinner. So always go advance and see the premises for yourself. Book the table, book the menu, book the venue, and let people know in advance. Right? Then from the point of, and on the day of lunch or dinner, wherever the business meal is, be earlier than the scheduled time. So you may have told people for today's dinner, please be in the premises by like 7:30 is where we'll have our dinner, or 7:30 is the time that you all should be here. You should be in the premises by 7 o'clock to make sure that all the arrangements are in place. Right? Then, in terms of the fact that you are being invited to as by the host. So what would your etiquettes then be? You should always thank the host for inviting you. You should not look towards the food once you're at the table. Okay. Again, follow to the timelines that the senior has given you. And in case if you're running late, definitely inform the concerned host that I'll be running late. Keep a seat reserved for me, or I'll join in probably during the dessert time by so and so time. And whenever you reach there, greet the host. Once again, thank him for inviting you for the lunch or dinner, and then take a seat on the left side of the table. Don't just go to the vacant seat or sit exactly next to it. So understand the hierarchy, if at all they have to follow, and sit on the left side of the table, from the left side of the table. Also, in terms of your eating habits, use your cutlery or crockery in the right manner. In the wine glass, you cannot have water. In the water glass, you can't have any other drinks. There are designated glasses available for the same. Water plate system. We Indians have a habit of, keeping the small plate on the side and the bigger plate on our left hand side, which is vis-a-vis as to what the Western people have taught us. They keep the bigger plate here and the water plate this side. Apparently to them, the eating habit, if you even go to see, is you take the bread, you dip it in the vegetable and you eat. So it kind of happens smoothly, 1, 2 and 3. Versus how we Indians do, we pick up here, we go here and we put it here. Very slight of a difference will be felt if you try what I'm trying to say. Pick up from the left, go to your right and put it in your mouth. it kind of feels like a seamless activity. Versus pick up from your right, go to the left, and then put it in your mouth. The action is the same, but slight discomfort can be felt. So that way, apparently speaking, the quarter plate always should be here and your bigger plate should be here. The soup bowls, the soup spoons, once your lunch or dinner is done, using your fork and spoon and putting a cross on the table, which means that you are done with food. Apparently, big restaurants, they say that you shouldn't gulp out all your food. You should let very small portion of your food remain on your plates. Basically, it is a compliment to the chef that you've made excellent food, fed us so much that I couldn't finish what was there on my plate. And as a mark of respect, you leave the food. So don't, scump up the food that's there on your table. Since you are in business meals, always make sure that you give importance to the talking rather than the eating. You are there basically to improve some sort of business relations and not there to basically eat. So make sure that you follow all these protocols. Whether you are the host, again, you can't be into your food, you need to talk to people, and if you're being invited to by the host, you can't be into the food, you're there for interactions. Last but not the least, we have what is known as the handshake etiquette. Now, handshake etiquette are very firm, not too tight, not too loose. It's not like a finger. It's like hand to hand, holding and shaking of hands in a vertical position. Apparently speaking, they say that somebody who is higher in terms of status should be the one to initiate the handshake. Sometimes they don't. The lower person should avoid. He can just say hello sir, rather than saying hello sir, it's nice meeting you. Let them shake a hand towards you. The ideal seconds should be close to 5 seconds, not more. Less, between 2 to 5, but ideal time frame is 5 seconds. And a firm, proper handshake is how it should go. You should avoid scratching somebody's hands, right? So this is where you understand the etiquettes. So from the point of view of business, quickly let's understand the 7 kind of etiquettes we did. We did what was office etiquettes, the kind of food you should carry, the kind of dressing sense you should have, the kind of grooming dressing skills you should have, the telephone etiquettes, using of words please, sorry, thank you, if at all, enunciating words clearly. If you're giving an address, you shouldn't say I am talking from so and so means B for bat, C for Calcutta, or not C for Calcutta, C for cat, let's say, because K for Kolkata bhi aa gaya. So B for bat, C for cat, and that's how you give proper address to it. After telephone etiquettes, then we move down to mobile etiquettes, using of your mobile phones and personal premises, and the concept of latency. Then we move to understanding what is known as internet etiquettes. Etiquettes, the other word for it is uploading of wrong content or passing comments, not a good thing. Then we move to the concept of business card, right? How do you give it? Facing upwards, with a smile on the face, not torn, worn out, dirty, but updated, fresh ones. And as a receiver, you also accept it graciously in front of them. You just read for a second, you just probably read out the name and keep it properly, not just scatter it here or there. Then we move to business meal etiquettes from the host perspective and from the receiver, the ones who receive an invitation for it. And last but not the least, the handshake etiquettes. With this, we finish off the chapter.